I woke up one morning and realized I had become a stranger in my own marriage. Not because of fighting or betrayal. It was because the woman I loved treated me like I didn't exist unless she needed something. My name is Daniel, and I used to believe love could survive anything. I married my wife, Emma, with the hope that we'd build a life full of trust, affection, and closeness. For the first year, it felt like we were living that dream. We kissed whenever we passed each other in the kitchen. We held hands on the couch. We made love often, not just out of desire but connection. Then something shifted. It didn't happen overnight. It was slow. One night she said she was tired. Then a week later she claimed she had a headache. Excuses piled up. At first I didn't think much about it. People get tired. Stress happens. Life isn't a constant honeymoon. I tried being patient, supportive, understanding. But intimacy didn't just slow down. Stopped entirely. I'd reach for her in bed and she'd roll to the far edge, mumbling something about needing space. I'd try to hug her from behind in the morning and she'd shrug me off, telling me she wasn't in the mood for affection. Not just sex, any touch at all. It stung more than she ever realized. I asked her what was going on. She sighed and told me I was being dramatic. Marriage isn't all about sex, she'd say, annoyed that I even brought it up. But it wasn't just that. She stopped kissing me goodbye. She stopped looking at me like I was her husband. I felt like a roommate paying bills and doing chores while she lived her own separate life. I tried planning dates. She'd cancel last minute. I suggested counseling. She told me we didn't need therapy and that I should stop pressuring her. Pressure. That word became her shield. After months of feeling rejected, I started to wonder if it was me. Maybe I wasn't attractive anymore. Maybe I had done something wrong. I worked harder, helped more around the house, took her out to fancy dinners. I'd compliment her often, trying to rebuild something that kept slipping away. She barely responded. Then one night, I walked into the living room and saw her smiling at her phone. She didn't hear me at first. She was leaning forward, giggling, her cheeks flushed in a way I hadn't seen in a long time. I asked, "Who are you chatting with?" She immediately locked the screen and snapped back, "None of your business." I stood there frozen. The woman who once told me everything suddenly acted like a stranger who owed me no explanation. My mind spiraled. Was there someone else? Was she giving emotional intimacy to another man while I sat in silence beside her every night? I tried to talk to her again. I told her I felt alone, that I missed being close to her. Her response hit me like a punch. "I'm not your property. You don't get to demand my body whenever you want." It wasn't anger or loudness that hurt me. It was the coldness. The way she saw my longing as something disgusting. Something controlling. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, realizing that I was begging for scraps of affection in a marriage that once felt full. So I made a choice. If she no longer wanted to be a wife in the ways that matter, love, closeness, intimacy, then I wasn't going to keep acting like a devoted husband while my needs were ignored. I stopped trying. I stopped initiating. I stopped asking for connection only to be rejected. Instead, I focused on myself. I hit the gym, played basketball with friends again, stayed late at work just to avoid going home to silence. I stopped cooking dinner for both of us, stopped doing her laundry, stopped chasing someone who clearly didn't care if I was right there or miles away. And the strangest thing happened. She noticed. Started with small comments. "Why are you coming home so late? Who are you texting? Why didn't you tell me you were going out?" Then late one night she slid closer to me in bed. She placed her hand on my chest like she used to. Then she leaned in and whispered, "I miss you." For a second I almost caved. But then I remembered every quiet tear I shed when she pushed me away. Every moment I felt unworthy of love. I looked at her and replied, "Now you miss me?" She pulled back as if struck. What's that supposed to mean? I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. You turned off every part of our marriage that made us a couple. Now that I stopped trying, suddenly you care. She didn't say a word. The next day she tried to apologize, But the words sounded too easy. Too late. She wanted everything fixed overnight. She thought intimacy could suddenly restart just because she snapped her fingers. But connection isn't a switch. I realized that while I was fighting for us, she wasn't fighting at all. She only cared now because she felt me slipping away. Not because she loved me. So I told her I needed space to think. And I meant it. I moved into our guest room for a week, then moved out entirely. I filed for divorce soon after. She cried and shouted that I was abandoning her. She said marriage vows meant sticking together no matter what. But vows go both ways. You cannot refuse love and expect loyalty to stay unbroken. The hardest moment was blocking her number. But silence is better than the constant ache of being unwanted. Some people think divorce comes from something dramatic. Cheating, screaming matches, huge betrayals. But sometimes it's quiet. It's nights of being turned away. It's the slow death of intimacy. It's feeling invisible in your own home. I learned something painful but important. If someone denies you love again and again, eventually your heart stops asking for it. She denied me intimacy as a wife. So I stopped acting like her husband. And when I finally walked away, I didn't do it out of anger. I did it to save what was left of myself. And that's a decision I'll never regret.